Music sounding good. Sounding good. What's going on, guys? Welcome in to the DNBA show, the DNVR Nuggets podcast. We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the code DNVR when you sign up and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's officially the All-Star break. We're here still working, though. The two-man game with super producer Kale sitting in for some of this show, I bet. It's me, Harrison Wind, also joined by D-Line. You know him as Eric.
That's right,
man. How is your All-Star break treating you so far?
No rest for the Wicked. That's all I have to say. We, the Wicked, get no rest at all. The Denver Nuggets are all getting what I would call very deserved rest, except for Nikola Jokic. But you and I, we travel forward. We don't take breaks here.
Yes, we have no off season. We have no All-Star break, although I am getting out of town this weekend. Excited for that. But yeah, we're still here. We got a lot to talk about today. We'll go over the news of the day. ESPN just released their second MVP straw poll. We'll talk about where Nikola Jokic ranks in that. And then we'll also get into some of the best moments from the pre-All-Star break portion of the regular season, one of which I think we saw last night that we can talk about some more. But the news of the day, D-Line, the news of the day, busy Bones Hyland is officially a rising star. He is selected as an injury replacement. He'll be in the Clorox Rising Stars game at All-Star Weekend.
The Clorox Rising Stars. That is maybe the worst sounding name of all time. Which makes Bones officially better than Michael Porter Jr., who never got to be part of the Rising Stars Challenge. I mean, honestly, it seemed weird when he didn't get the invite the first time, but he just wasn't playing, so I guess it's not that weird. But I'm stoked he's there, dude. But you know, a game like that is going to be a Hooper's paradise, and Bones is absolutely going to shine.
I know. I mean, there's nothing that caters to Hoopers more than the Rising Stars game. You can say what you want about the All-Star game. For the first three quarters, it's just kind of a pickup game, and then the fourth quarter they play some defense. The Rising Stars game, maybe it'll be different because of this new format, but that is just like it's not even a game at Rucker Park. It's more like a game at your local YMCA. You know, just no defense, just Hoopers balling out all that.
Just Hoopers doing like Hoopers do. Do you remember when Kenneth Faried was the MVP of this game? Which actually makes no sense. Is Kenneth Faried a Hooper?
That's a tough one.
I know, that's a tough one, right?
He's like neither a hooper or a basketball
player. What is he? I guess maybe that's why he's out of the league.
Just a pure athlete.
Yeah.
You know who also won MVP of the Rising Stars game once upon a time? Jamal Murray.
Oh my God. It's a legacy. It is what you do to become Denver royalty. Bones, just another in the procession of Rising Star MVPs, I'm certain. I'm going to bet every dollar I have on this.
Also, another former participant in the Rising Stars game, Damian Lillard. So, Bones Hyland, he's on track.
Was he an MVP or is he just a participant?
Let me see here. He participated in the Rising Stars Challenge, finished with 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. And? I do not think he won MVP.
Well, then Bones won't be MVP. I guess that's what we know about that. There we go.
Yeah, doesn't have the highest expectations to shoot for, but maybe that's a good thing. No, I'm excited because it's clearly something he wanted.
Yeah,
you know, this is actually perfect for Bones because he can still say he's motivated from getting snubbed, because he was kind of still snubbed because he's an injury replacement. He didn't actually get voted in, so he can still say he's snubbed, but now he also gets the enjoyment of going there. So he still has that motivation. It's still, driving him, but he also gets to, enjoy that Rising Stars game at All-Star Weekend.
I love that he gets to take out his chip on his shoulder, anger in the game that he was snubbed from. He can actually make a point in that game. It doesn't have to take his whole career trying to prove him wrong like Tom Brady. He can take care of business right away. Just make them all regret that they didn't invite him in the first place.
Yeah. So that will definitely be exciting to see. Monte Morris just broke the news in his post-game interview last night. He was like, yeah, Jokic is going to All-Star Weekend. Bones is going there too. I was like, wait, what? What?
Dude, what can't Monte do? He's a newsbreaker, a game winner, a mayor, a nugget, I guess. Like, what can this man not do? He's also dating Amber Rose. He's a man about town. Monte Morris. Have we underestimated Monte Morris? Like, we all think the world of him, but are we not giving him enough credit for all of the things he has to offer?
I mean, he's multi-talented. He's well-versed in everything.
Unbelievable.
A representative for the city.
Monte has somehow figured out how to like be an NBA celebrity while also living in Denver, and that's a hard thing to do.
Well, he's not like a celebrity. He's like an NBA liaison. Like he's in the middle of everything. I don't think that anybody outside of Denver knows who he is, except for everybody in the NBA. He's a celebrity to the NBA, but not to the NBA fan. It's remarkable, and all I'm left with is that we're just not giving him enough credit for, and we already give him tons of credit. It's unbelievable.
Mayor of Chopper Circle.
Let's go.
The mayor of Chopper Circle. No, I wrote that exact thing, D-Line, on the DNVR.com last night.
What?
He's the Nuggets liaison. I said that verbatim.
What?
It's so funny. Monte knows everybody in the NBA, and even when college guys come into Ball Arena to work out for the Nuggets in the pre-draft, like Monte Morris has been in the league for 5 years. It's not even like he was just in college. But somehow all these guys know Monte. You know, one of the questions that everybody gets lobbed at these pre-draft workouts, like, oh, do you know anybody on the Nuggets? Have you talked to anybody on the team? Blah, blah, blah. Every time, it's Monte Morris. Oh, yeah, I know Monte. All right.
How does he... I mean, I do know that real G's move in silence like lasagna, but how is it that Monte Morris is able to become the... I guess we'll just say it again, the liaison to all of the NBA. How is he networking at such a high clip? Is this social media based? Is he going to events such as the Clorox Rising Star Challenge, just campaigning and champagning or whatever?
I think he's just got his foot in a lot of different circles. He played in college for 4 years, so he built 4 years worth of relationships there with guys around the country, just playing against them. And I think he, in the summer, just travels around and plays pickup at a lot of places. So,
unreal. See, because I was in college for 4 years, and I met like 4 guys, and I don't keep in touch with any of them.
Also, Monte's just like a cool guy. He's just
that's
a cool
the difference.
guy.
That's the difference. Okay.
Just somebody you want in your circle.
That is definitely the difference. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. But he also is the Nuggets liaison in the fact that when the Nuggets bring a new player onto the team, when the Nuggets sign a player or they trade for a player, one of Tim Connolly's first texts is to Monte Morris. And he texts Monte that guy's number.
My God.
And then Monte reaches out to that guy. This is what happened with Facu 2 years ago. The guy moves his whole family over from Europe. One of the first texts he gets after the deal becomes official with Denver is from Monte. He welcomes him to the city, welcomes him to the team. He is the liaison.
Do we have any doubt that message that he sent was delivered in perfect Espanol? Like it was done... You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even like he was like, "Hey, welcome." Like he meets everybody on their level. Man, that Monte Morris, holy smokes!
Yeah. So, like I was saying with Bones, Nuggets will have their second representative at All-Star Weekend. Here's the Rising Stars team he's going to be on. We've got LaMelo Ball, we've got Scotty Barnes, we've got Ayo Dosunmu, we've got Chris Duarte. Oh, I think he's injured though. Scoot Henderson from the G League Ignite, Bones, Jonathan Kuminga, and Jaden McDaniels. So that's who.
Scoot Henderson? I've never heard this name. Scoot Henderson sounds like somebody that was in Leave It to Beaver. Like he was like the neighbor, like Wally and Scoot Henderson across the way.
Yeah, he's got a great name. He's potentially the number one pick, not this coming draft, but in 2023.
Oh, wow.
He's potentially the number one pick. So he's super young. I think he's only 17 still.
God damn. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Good old Scoot. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah. So that'll be fun to watch this weekend at the Rising Stars game. I believe
that game is
Friday?
fun, man. Yeah, that game is like fun. It's like so ridiculous, but it's not like the All-Star game where these guys have literally nothing to prove. These young guys have everything to prove, but they still play like the most absurd pickup / Rucker Park / YMCA game. But there's like a little bit to it that's like a lot more, like they're actually interested in winning, which is cool.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in that game this weekend. I also want to get to some more news of the day. ESPN, worldwide leader, they released their second MVP straw poll, the second time they've done it this season, where they surveyed 100 media members, 100 likely voters to try to simulate where the All-Star race is at this point. The first time they did this, Steph Curry was the runaway winner. Now, this was back, I think, still in 2021 when the Warriors just got out to this ridiculous start and Curry was like the clear favorite. But here's where the race stands right now, according to, like I said, 100 potential voters. So, I mean, it's not exactly the people who vote on the MVP award at the end of the season, but usually this straw poll is pretty accurate. At least last year it was when Jokic won in a runaway. So Joel Embiid has got 45 first-place votes. Nikola Jokic got 43. The big news, I think, to come out of this, though, is that 5 voters left Nikola Jokic off their ballot entirely. Eric, I don't want to hear any whining. I don't want to hear that out of you today. But what's your reaction to that?
Okay, my reaction is that the MVP race is the single greatest creator of content in the NBA. It is an argument you can have the duration of the NBA season, and it will never be resolved until the very end. It's also based entirely on just people's what they think should happen. There's no like hard and fast way to figure out how people are going to vote. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. It's completely subjective. I do think that more often than not, like, people don't like to vote the same person in 2 times in a row, even though this happens all the time. I just think that there's like
it just happened. I mean, Giannis just went back to back MVPs.
You have to like absolutely make it you have to remove all doubt, I believe, to make that happen. So, and I also think that Joel Embiid is having a great year. It's just that Jokic, we know, is having a fantastic year. This is just, I think, a lot of the combination of, like I said, like I think some people are like, all right, like I wanted to vote for Embiid last year, but he was hurt. So now that he's not hurt, I get to vote for him. And they have a better, place in the standings, which is like something you can always like revert back to. Even though Jokic is having the statistically the greatest season ever recorded. I think that should be worth something, frankly, personally. But I'm not a voter, so I guess those are my reactions. But I also feel like unless Embiid goes down for any amount of time, like I think he's definitely in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Look, I think Jokic should be the MVP right now, but I'm not surprised that Embiid is leading this. I think he should be the favorite right now, just in terms of how I think the voting is going to go. And the biggest reason why is what you just said, voter fatigue. Like, that's a real thing, especially in the case of Nikola Jokic, where we know a lot of people didn't want to vote for him last year and just did because he played in all 82 games. Now, the 5 people that left him off the ballot entirely, like, I need those names. We need to make those names public. I need to know who those people are.
I know.
I need to hit up Tim Bontemps and find out.
This is what I came on here to complain about. I want to whine, Harrison. I want to whine.
Yeah, we should be able to whine.
I want to whine.
The whining lounge. This is the whining lounge. Whine away.
If you don't have Nikola Jokic in your top 5 this season, after he's putting up as Eric just said, statistically the greatest season ever, why do you deserve to have a vote? That sucks.
It really
Those
does.
are the people who were so pissed they had to vote for Nikola Jokic last year. They're taking it out on him this year. Like, that's the only explanation.
That's what this goddamn thing is. Like, the best part about sports is that what happens between the lines, like, happened. It's unarguable. Like, the team won the game. The ball went through the hoop. This stuff is like, all right, like who has an agenda? Like, what are we talking about? Like, clearly, like not everybody is approaching this with, truthful and pure intent. If you could find a way to leave Jokic off the top 5, I mean that the amount of mental gymnastics it takes to be able to do that is jarring. So again, like you say, these are not the actual voters, so there probably is, I would think, as we saw last year, even though it felt like it was close, like Jokic, in the end, it was not close at all. Like the people that were voted in a way that you could defend without it just coming down to like, I just like this guy better. This feels like I just like this guy better, at this point.
Yeah, this feels like it's Joel Embiid's time. Like that's what it feels like. It's his time. Maybe he could have contended last year if he didn't get hurt, but he's healthy. It's his time. That's what it feels like to me. So, like I was saying, I think Embiid right now is like rightfully the betting favorite because of the voter fatigue. I'm also thinking that once James Harden gets into uniform, I think that team's going to be better than they were, without him. So I think a boost record-wise from playing with Harden, Philly rising up the standings a little bit, I actually think that's going to help Embiid because the narrative of his stats and that he's just had a really dominant season from a statistical perspective, I think that narrative's already set in stone. I don't think that's going to change with Harden. And I just think if him and Jokic have, pretty similar stats to what they do right now, I just think most people are going to go Embiid. Jokic won it last year. I think people are going to give it to Embiid this year if it's, a toss-up.
I mean, I completely – we're seeing that. I mean, I think that we knew that going into the season. This is why you get this whiny – that's why we're all so goddamn whiny, because it's like we just don't get a fair shake. Like it took like an act of God for Jokic to win last year. Like Embiid had to be physically removed from contention in order for people to be like, all right, fine. We'll vote for this guy. It's just the aesthetic. It's like Jokic just will forever suffer from poor aesthetics as far as basketball, like, I don't know, pundits are concerned. Like, he just doesn't look right to them. So, like, they'll just never be able to get over it. It's so silly, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Jokic has in his back pocket for this is, look, the Nuggets have one of the easiest schedules over the rest of the season. They could pile up a bunch of wins. They could go on a winning streak. Reinforcements with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. could be on the way. And there's some pretty shocking stats with Jokic compared to Embiid. Like, how does Nikola Jokic have a better defensive rating than Joel Embiid this season? Like, obviously, Joel Embiid's the better defender. We know that. But how are the Nuggets better defensively with Jokic on the floor than the 76ers are with Embiid on the floor?
See, I don't know. I don't even think that that's necessarily like just a fact that Embiid is a better defender than Jokic. I think that Embiid is a better rim protector than Jokic, and like that's what you generally grade centers off of. But Jokic's positional defense and like he just like gets in the way, gets his hands up, and he doesn't like swat shots like Embiid or Gobert typically. But like, I mean, it means something. It's like meaningful that his defensive rating is where it is. We've seen it in years, and like it's been something he's worked on very clearly in off seasons, and he moves his feet so much better. He doesn't get cooked like he used to if you draw him out. Like it used to just be an automatic bucket if you could get Jokic switched out onto your point guard, and then he could just run past him and make him look silly. Like Jokic has like really applied his high IQ basketball approach to the defensive end, and it's paid so many dividends. Like he's a legitimately plus defender in this league. He's a really good defender.
I also
absolutely.
I also don't think he can be oversold. Like, defense is so hard to quantify, and that's why there's so many of these different advanced analytical ratings trying to do it. And Jokic is really good at getting those steals in really opportune moments. Like, I think his timing is undersold because he tends to have his biggest defensive possessions when he needs to. Totally. And that is so valuable.
Three game-winning blocks, for God's sake.
3 of them. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jokic's defense, it's gotten way better this season and last season, really. I mean, he's super underrated there. But we'll see. It's funny. Jokic had a bit of a statement game last night, although nobody would have been talking about it if Monte Morris's game winner didn't go in. It's pretty funny how that stuff works out. Embiid tonight against Giannis and the Bucks on ESPN. He's got a chance to follow up with a statement game of his own. So
Be better.
So we'll see. Also,
Street you're watching.
March 14th in Philly, Nuggets take on the 76ers. That is
cool. I wonder why. What do you think the reason Embiid won't play that game is?
Well, if you're thinking of a reason, they're actually on a back-to-back.
Oh man, that is tough. Well, we don't want to put him out there and risk injury, so probably gonna miss that one again. That is tough. Too bad for
the
old Jokic
76ers
Embiid.
play in Orlando Sunday, March 13th, and then they host the Nuggets Monday, March 14th.
Yo, if they voluntarily sit Embiid, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind.
That would be a great post-game lounge if they sit me for that game.
Oh my god, dude! I'm fully prepared to get canceled by the city of Philadelphia again. I will put out some fiery tweets
again for the second time.
For the second time, yes.
All right, let's hit a break. We're going to go over some of the top moments from this season so far. So if you're in the chat, list one or two of your favorite moments from this season so far, and we'll make sure to get to those too. On the other side here, if you guys haven't been able to watch Nuggets and Avalanche games this season, we've got a solution. Evoca TV. It's a totally new paradigm for TV delivery that is less expensive, more efficient, offers a superior picture than legacy providers as well. Of course, they also carry Altitude Sports and other national channels as well. Evoca TV, it's available in Denver, Colorado Springs, Phoenix, Boise, and Twin Falls, Idaho. Evoca TV uses next-gen broadcast technology. It's a super vibrant and clear picture. It doesn't lag. It's not like some of those streaming services where your picture can go in and out because it's like just connected to the internet. Evoca TV is super clear, super high quality. Most importantly, it has Altitude Sports as well. If you want to get Evoca TV, go to evoca.tv/DNVR. It's only $25 per month. No contracts, no hidden fees. Price is locked in for 2 years. So evoca.tv/DNVR, only $25 per month. Also at DraftKings Sportsbook, here's their latest offer for Hoops fans. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is too good to pass up. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. It's that simple. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on NBA same-game parlays if you're not a new user. So make sure to get in on those as well. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Bet just $1 on any NBA team. Get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code DNVR at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only, new customers only, minimum $5 deposit. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. I also got to do a DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week here. Firing up my DraftKings app.
What are we thinking? We have no basketball to. Can you bet on the Rising Stars Challenge?
That's what I'm looking at here.
Oh, let's go.
Let's see.
Dude, the most depraved act of gambling is always betting on exhibitions. That's the feeling.
I don't see it, but I know what my bet's going to be for MVP of the All-Star game. It's Giannis.
Yeah.
He's an absolute lock.
He is an absolute lock. He wants it too. He always likes what. You're right. Can I another absolute lock? Jokic,
Sure.
Not the MVP of the All-Star game. A 1,000% lock.
When LeBron picked Giannis first in the All-Star draft, he goes, "I'm picking the hardest playing player in All-Star game history,"
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right. And Nikola Jokic might be the like least hardest playing player in All-Star game history.
I know. Don't you feel like Jokic would be happier if he got voted to the All-Star game halftime performance? Like he would just be able to come out and like juggle or something. He'd be like way happier than having to actually play basketball.
Yeah. I think he's happy he's there, but he's not exactly going hard in the game. Yeah, I think Ja Morant's a decent pick as well.
That's a good point.
Not bad.
Yeah. He's definitely going to play hard.
All right, let's go into some of our favorite moments from the pre-All-Star break version, or the pre-All-Star break part of this Nuggets schedule. I'm going to start. I think the best moment from the season is not last night, unfortunately, although we'll get to last night. But it's Aaron Gordon's 3 to beat the Clippers in overtime when Nikola Jokic had a 49-point triple-double and delivered this ridiculous pass to Aaron Gordon's shooting pocket, and AG nailed the 3 from the corner.
Jokic,
I mean, this was freaking
double.
ridiculous. Look at that.
Unbelievable. And like that was so amazing too, because I mean, Aaron Gordon was probably of the players on the floor, the one you were least excited to take a game-winning 3 attempt. But I don't know, man. I think that I agree. I mean, obviously that's an incredible moment. That was like fantastic. But there's something like just the degree of difficulty of the pass itself. Like there's so many factors that play into that. But last night, the Nuggets led 2 times in that entire game. One was at 15 seconds and one was at 0 seconds. And like if Monte doesn't make that shot, it's not like in that first example, like they just go into another overtime, like they lose. They just lose the game. And all of that like furious comeback is for naught. Like to me, the fact that they won the game last night was so like it was just so far away from what I thought was possible. It was just so unbelievable. Like they were just it didn't seem like they had any business winning that game. Like they never win at I guess not Oracle. What is it now? Chase Center.
Chase Center. Yeah.
Fucking Chase Center.
Soulless arena, cursed place.
What a terrible place. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they took a place like they took the heart of the NBA and just ripped it out and like made it like a Silicon Valley version. Anyway,
tech bros in their fleece vest just riding the court.
But last night was so like it was just so unexpected. Like for me, I think that was like the happiest I was, based on the fact that I just was even like moments before sure we were going to lose.
No, you're right. I mean, that entire game, really, even into that play, you thought there was no chance the Nuggets were winning.
No chance.
You know, until Jokic got the ball, and I was like, oh, they actually were able to inbound the ball to him and like execute that. Then I thought, okay, maybe there's a chance to win. That was the first time the entire game, though.
But if Jokic hits the shot, they just tie.
Right.
Like I was like, okay, we're going to overtime. But then the fact that he kicked it out to Monte, who just drained it. Like I mean, I just lost my mind. Like that was so shocking to me. I was like not even emotionally prepared for it. You know what I mean? I was like, it was not like I was kind of ready for it with the Aaron Gordon for whatever reason. But last night they were just never truly in the game until they somehow won it.
Yeah, you had no emotion because our emotions were entirely drained for the first 47 minutes and 55 seconds of that game.
Yeah, and I wasted all of my like emotional currency on just being disappointed and disgusted. And then later on, I was like, man, I should have saved some emotional currency for being excited and elated. Like that would have been much better used.
A great little note about that play. Monte, in his post-game interview with Chris Dempsey on the court, said that Jokic told him in the huddle, hey, man, if they double me, you got to be ready for the ball. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And he was ready. He was ready to shoot. Jokic delivered a perfect pass.
It's as good as it gets, baby. It's as good as it goddamn gets. A game-winning shot in the NBA is as good as it gets.
Yeah. Another best moment I've got from this season is Bones Hyland against the Lakers. Like Bones has had a couple of these breakout games this season, but I mean the guy just murdered the Lakers when the Nuggets just trounced them earlier this season. I think he set his career high in that game. he was celebrating every made three. I hope when Bones Hyland is a 10-year veteran, I hope he's still celebrating every three and just yelling at the crowd after every single one like he does right now. It's just awesome. But he was so locked in this game.
You see, like, when his form is, I mean, like, his form when he's, like, playing relaxed and playing in rhythm, like, he's so smooth. Like, when he gets, like, choppy and jittery and, like, is trying to make cuts and, like, I don't know, like, just his jump shot when it's on and pure, it's like there's just like not a lot of movement to it. It's so interesting to me. Seeing him, oh God, that spin too. God damn it, that spin! I forgot about that. That's so beautiful. Yeah. I love it when Bones does well. Like, it just makes my heart smile. It just makes me feel like the good times are here to stay in Denver. Like our young core keeps getting its own young core, which keeps getting its own young core. Like Tim Conley, the GOAT, baby.
This year has been such a slog. Can you imagine if we didn't have just Bones Hyland's joy and his spirit and his energy? This year would be so much worse.
Oh my God. If we just had a team of like Austin Riverses, like everyone's just like bummed out, like heavy all the time. That's like what it was for the last couple of years for the Trailblazers. Like it just felt like heavy when you played those dudes. Like there just wasn't that spark of joy. They didn't have that like hope for the future. They knew they had like reached their maximum potential and it just like wasn't good enough. Not us, baby. That we don't suffer from that. Also, LN, this is not my kitchen. This is the producer booth here at the office.
Yeah, Bones has just injected so much life and energy into this season. I can't even imagine what it would be like if he wasn't here. Super glad he is. Also, what you were saying about his jump shot, I agree, man. He has such a soft jumper.
It is.
I think that's how I describe it. Like, the motion is so fluid and effortless almost, no matter if he's at the three-point line or at the logo.
Yes.
He's got like the same soft, fluid motion. It's just easy.
Yeah, and it's like mostly push, but I think most of his action comes from his wrist, which is like interesting. It's like most people have the two that are connected a little bit more. You get a lot of out of the elbows, but that's like not him. It's like so. I mean, there's so many different ways to do anything, but it's interesting to see like how he's grown up and taught himself, presumably, like this jumper, and like has just perfected it, hooping it up all over Baltimore.
Delaware, yeah.
Delaware, that's right.
The other moment I thought about and gave to Kale here for the highlights is Jokic's 3 blocks. I mean, 3 game-winning blocks, so and wild. We're only at the All-Star break. I think he had one last season against Zion Williamson and the Pelicans. In that,
I think that was this year.
That was last year. Because you go back and look, and it's in like an empty arena, and you're like, okay. I think that's from last year. But against the Rockets, against the Warriors in that first win in Chase Center, which was another incredible win, where Denver just didn't have anybody in that game and somehow got the W. And then this one, where he just comes from the other side of the paint to block OG Anunoby on that game winner, who was wide open, by the way. Just ridiculous.
Dude, the wildest thing about this is there's 3 game winners. I feel like he probably has like 4 blocks total this year. 3 of them for game winners. I don't know what it is that gets into him at that exact, like that last moment. He like really goes for it. I don't know what it is that he like does not go for blocks at all typically. Like it's just not his game. Normally he just raises both hands up and he acts more like a fence than, somebody trying to block it. But like he's got it in there, man. I just don't know why that's like not really part of his game. It's like so awesome to see when he does it. It's always like so unexpected too. When Jokic blocks a shot, I like get so hyped.
Yeah. I think it might have been you who mentioned it maybe after this Raptors game, but at the end of a game, there's like no option of what to do. Like if you're OG Anunoby there, you have to go up and shoot that. If you're, I forget who was driving the ball for the Warriors on that play, your only choice is to shoot the ball in that situation. So maybe with Jokic, he's like, I know he's going to shoot it. It's the only thing he can do right here.
Yeah.
I just got to block it.
There's definitely that, but there's also like I feel like normally during the flow of a game, like I think he just is nervous about taking fouls, so he's like not likely to swing his arms, So he just sort of like goes for that up and down motion. But you're right, like when there's just no other option, like he knows for a fact, like OG is either going to shoot it right now or the game's going to be over. So the timing works out for itself. Incredible, dude! Incredible. This guy, like, what else is like? What else could we possibly ask for him? What else could a MVP voter possibly ask of an MVP candidate before they would vote them into the top 5?
No, 5 guys are better. 5 guys have been better this season. The other one I just thought about was the Nuggets 5-game winning streak. When I introduced Nuggets 2.0 to the world, and we really thought we had something, and then that went away.
You did Nuggets 2.0 last season. Eric did Smuggets. I'm banning both of you from making nicknames moving forward.
Nope, that's definitely not going to happen. We are going to say whatever the hell we want all the time.
But, I mean, Nuggets 2.0, it culminated with that ridiculous win in Milwaukee. That's arguably the best win of the season also, where
it's true. Denver
just trounced the Bucks and Giannis.
And the Lakers win was in that streak too, wasn't it? The big Lakers win? Yeah. Where it was part of that 10 or 12 game, 10 of 12 streak or whatever. So You're right. It did feel very Nuggets 2.0-esque.
It is, dude. We are Nuggets 2.0. We've the only thing now is that we've upgraded again, dude. We might be Nuggets 2.5.
I don't want to jinx it.
Oh, no.
But coming out of the All-Star break, have you seen the Nuggets schedule? Have you seen their first 6 games out of the All-Star break?
No.
Let me just list them off for you. At Sacramento, versus Sacramento at home, a home and home against the Sacramento Kings to kick things off after the break. At Portland, versus Oklahoma City, versus Houston, versus New Orleans.
Wow. That's incredible. Man,
that's 6 games where they're going to be pretty heavy favorites in.
And they've won out of the break. 3 of their last 4 going into the break?
Yeah,
they've won 5 out of their last 6 coming into the break.
How many are we 2 in a row now or 3 in a row?
3 in a row. Toronto, Orlando, Golden State.
3 in a row, and that's the 6 coming out of the break when they're going to be rested, and then they possibly get Jamal back?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I don't want to jinx it, but Nuggets 3.0? Maybe?
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, if Sacramento ruins our lives again and Sean Holmes goes off for 10 or 12 of those push shots, I'm just going to stop.
Could.
I'm just done at that point. I'm just going to move on with my life. You guys will never hear from me again.
They totally could. All right, let's hit another break. We'll wrap up on the other side here. Guys, make sure to pick up some Breck Brew seltzers this weekend. If you're in the area, stop into the DNVR bar. This weekend, we've got Breck Brew seltzers stocked in the fridge. Great flavors. I'd recommend the peach. It's my favorite flavor. So if you're in the area, stop into the DNVR bar. We've got those. If you're not in the area, that's okay. You can still pick up Breck Brew seltzers at your local liquor store. Sometimes your local grocery store has them. If you don't know where to pick them up, check out the Breck Brew beer locator. You just type in your zip code, type in your address. It will show you where the closest place to get Breck Brews is. So make sure to pick up some Breck Brews this weekend, the official beer of DNVR. Also, Chevalier Mortgage. Look, if you've got questions about taking out a mortgage, if you've got questions about just that whole process of buying a house, it's really complicated. It can be stressful. Mike and Virginia Chevalier, they've been in the mortgage business forever. They know all the ins and outs. They can make a really complicated process super, super easy for you. They know how stressful it is to buy a house right now, but they can help alleviate a lot of that stress and make that process way easier for you. So visit them at dnvrmortgage.com. Get set up with a free consultation. Mike and Virginia Chevalier, they're great people. Like I said, they've been in the business forever. They're Denver people just like us, so they know the market. They know the area. Hit them up today. Get set up with a free consultation at dnvrmortgage.com. Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631. All right. Back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. heading into the All-Star break, D-Line, you got any plans for All-Star weekend? How are you going to enjoy this All-Star break away from the Nuggets?
Well, anytime there's not basketball, I just go into a medically induced coma, and then I just wait until basketball comes back, and I have the doctors revive me because I really have nothing else going on in my life. There's nothing else really to look forward to. My friends and family have really drifted away from me as time has gone on. So it's really just me and Nikola Jokic. And without that, my life lacks purpose, and I don't know what to do.
Wow, that's
You're right, D-Line. You're going to be so bored over the next 2 weeks, I'm sure.
I'm going to be living in a medical cocoon in a hospital. I have Michael Jackson's doctors on hand, and I'll just close my eyes, open them back up, and the Nuggets will be back ready to go on that 6-0 winning streak. I can't wait.
You mean you're not going to like South Beach, which is the default spot where every NBA player goes during the All-Star break?
I thought me and all the NBA bros went to Cancun. I thought, is Mexico out?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Yeah.
Out. Cancun is where you went when you were making like NBA money of the mid 2000s.
Oh,
but I mean, South Beach is where it's where it's at now.
So Cancun doesn't glitter enough. Okay, so I'm going to get my Bugatti, go to South Beach, hang out with AD on his crutches, his diamond encrusted crutches. It's going to be a good time. You're right. I hadn't thought about this. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to South Beach.
Oh, man, I love it. Kale, you said we got a super chat or a couple of them to get to here. Thanks for the super chats, guys, on a
hell yeah, dude.
Show.
I
Jonathan Rossini.
Monte smoking that curry pack today.
It's a 10 out of 10 super chat, Jonathan.
That's a good one. That one was worth paying for. My favorite is when people get super chats and they just put one word, yeet, or let's go, or something. Those are my favorite super chats. Or the ones that just say super chat.
Super chat.
I'll tell you who's going to have a great All-Star break, though. Monte Morris.
Dude. That man is going to make so many goddamn connections. And you're right, because he just went out on a high note. Like, he's going to walk around and be like, hey, did you see my game-winning shot against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors? And parlay that into some sort of lifelong political connection.
He's got to make so many connections. Like,
he's gonna make that's what you call him. Oh.
I wonder if Monte has, like, a quota of, connections he has to make at All-Star Weekend just to, keep his network always growing up. He's got to keep making connections.
What do we think Bones? What do we think the highlight of Bones All-Star Weekend is going to be?
Oh, he's going to hit 8 3-pointers in the Rising Star game.
Will he take a half quarter?
Yes.
What I'm wondering.
Dude, and then he's going to talk, and then he's going to be interviewed in the after the game, and he's be like, "Oh man, I just knew it was going to be bottoms," and I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be the best thing I've ever heard.
Mile High City, baby.
Mile High City, baby.
We're gonna be like, dude, you're in Cleveland.
Yeah, we'll be like, but it doesn't matter. He takes it with him wherever he goes. I'm a Nugget.
That was maybe low key a moment I forgot to include in this pre All-Star break look back. Bones getting the mic on opening night, and it's honestly a pretty significant moment. I think who gets the mic on opening night, and Bones got it, and he didn't even really say anything or make a speech. Little. He just yelled "Mile High City" a couple
times. Mile High City, baby. See, I think it's it's like simultaneously the most impressive / most confusing moment ever, because you think, yes, he would plan something to say, but it's also possible that's all he planned on saying. Like he did, It went exactly according to plan. It was pure hype. No substance, all sizzle. I love it. Bones, you're my guy.
My favorite was 2 weeks ago when he got the mic again, and same thing. That's all he did.
Mile High City, baby!
He just probably blacked out that moment. I know I would. I love how he has the Mile High City call and then proceeds to record a DNP CD. That was
Yeah. He's amazing. Dude, Bones is the best. He's just like the best. He's like so interesting. Like oftentimes you find yourself rooting for a basketball team that's like full of like super uninteresting guys. Like you're like, all right, I guess it's me and you, Nate Robinson or whatever, and you're just like stuck with that, and there's just like no other option. But like when the universe gives you like actual personalities like Nikola Jokic, Bones Hyland, Jamal Murray, all these guys that like you actually want to succeed in life because they're cool people, and like the second benefit is if they do well, you feel like you've also accomplished something.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah. Nuggets certainly do have a lot of great personalities on this roster. It's part of what makes this team just like so fun to root for and so fun to cover. You could, if you were writing a book on the Nuggets, like you could have a chapter about so many different guys. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right. You got anything else before we head out of here and, get further into the All-Star break?
Well, talk to like, where are you? I mean, like, we've had like a really, very up and down first half of the season. We knew that's what we were getting going into it. It's one thing to talk about it, another thing to live through it. Like, just kind of where are you mentally at this exact moment in time with the Denver Nuggets? Like,
where am I mentally? I mean, I think what the Nuggets have done at 33-25, 6th in the West, I feel like that's about as good as you could have hoped for. With how good the top of the West is. I don't know if I saw Phoenix, Golden State, and Memphis being this good. I thought they'd all, those teams would definitely be maybe in the top 4 of the West, but I don't know if I saw them, being this good out of the gate. I mean, Memphis, the 3rd seed in the West, would be the number 1 seed in the East right now. Those 3 teams have been so elite. So, where Denver is right now, I think they're in a really good spot. I just don't know. And thank God this All-Star break came at the right time, because I wasn't sure how much longer Nikola Jokic could do this for. And that seems incredibly silly to say, because it seemed like he was at the end of his rope leading into the break and then just delivered an all-time game against the Warriors. But he's just got so much responsibility. I don't know how much longer he can do it. The good thing is you have the break. And then, it's just waiting season for a Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. return. And if those two come back and look like they can contribute, I really think the window's open. I think the Nuggets do have a chance to make a deep playoff run. I really think they do.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's like this is the first season in, I believe, the Jokic era and certainly the Michael Malone era where we're not going to get better this season. This is the first season where we are going to most assuredly take a step back as far as record is concerned. And so it's like it's interesting because it's very easy to point to the future when things are on the rise, when you're developing, when you're a young team that's coming into its own. And we know the reasons, obviously, but this season has not been that. And so it's been interesting for me to sort of see like how the fan base has been reacting to disappointment and, maybe not meeting expectations that probably shouldn't have been there. It certainly shouldn't have been there, knowing who we had out at the beginning. But it's like one thing to say it and it's another thing to live through it. Like to be like, okay, well, I know that the Nuggets will probably be better later, but like this feels really shitty right now because they keep losing games and it's not fun to watch. And, you sort of like lose your zest for the squad when times turn a little rough. That being said, like, I loved what I saw last night. Like, it was so encouraging to me that it was a game that more than anything, like, probably doesn't mean a whole lot in the macro sense, but just showing that the guys that are left on the roster, like, still have that fight and still have that resolve, and they all have as many excuses as they want to turn to roster-wise as to why they're not able to achieve the heights they were in the previous season. So just seeing like that's there and just imagining adding like the attitude of Jamal Murray and like the sublime shooting of Michael Porter Jr. and all of the things that we know to be true that we've been waiting for to like come to full fruition. It's like it like gets me really excited. I'm just so happy we've gotten through this first half of the goddamn season. It hasn't been a complete train wreck.
Yeah, we've definitely made it through the toughest part. And you have sensed this season, I think, more frustration than ever from us at times, from Nuggets fans at times. And I think there's two parts of that. One is expectations on this team have just been raised. And that's because they have the MVP, the best player in the NBA, and because they've, made somewhat of a run in the playoffs the last couple seasons. I mean, there's just so much expectation on this team right now, way more, than there's ever been at any point going back to like 2009, 2010, when none of these guys were even close to the league.
Not even close.
So there's just so much expectation. But then another part of the frustration, I think, has just been every game or most games just follow a pretty familiar script. Jokic balls out.
Yep.
Looks incredible, doesn't get enough help. And talking about that after every game, it's taxing and it weighs on you. But hopefully we don't have to do that for much longer.
Yeah,
we haven't even had to lately. Since Boogie's been in the lineup, the bench has been like a -2. And as Eric likes to say, a -2 from the bench is actually a +8.
That's a +8, yeah. The bench comes into the game at -10 just to start the game. And if they are able to play even, it's a +8. That's a +10. If they are down 2, it's a +8. Yes, the thing about this goddamn first part of the season is like everything has had to go perfectly every game. Their margin of error is so slim. Michael Malone has been, saddled with a very strange roster, trying to find out like who to put in where. The Facu Bones situation has been sort of like confounding all season long. But Bones has been out. COVID has been a whole part of it. I mean, we'll never see it. The last 3 years, like each of these 3 years has been different, but each has been completely unique. And each 3 of these years will never be replicated again in the NBA. Like they're the most anomalous, the most bizarre. There's like so many things outside of basketball that has been affecting what's happening on the court every single night. Yeah. And it's so fucking frustrating, but like, I'm so proud of us as a fan base. Like we've for the most part, like, everybody's kind of stuck with it and like stayed along for the ride. We see the same people in the chats every night. We see, the same kind of numbers downloading and even increasing, which is amazing because the Nuggets have been so frustrating. And I just love that Nikola Jokic can be the foundation of so many people finding joy together in what can be like a very dark and scary world. So kudos to all of you.
Yes, absolutely. Bones is going to the Rising Stars game.
Let's freaking go, dude.
Friday. Tomorrow. Wow. At All-Star Weekend.
Just like that.
Yeah. I think that's all we got for today. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Fun show looking back on this season and assessing the MVP race. We'll see what happens over the final couple months of the season.
I know what's going to happen. We're going to whine about it. That's what's going to happen.
All right. Throw a thumbs up if you guys haven't and you're enjoying the show. Talk to you guys later.
Let's go.